As a holistic medical doctor, I often get as a holistic medical doctor, I often get the question, should I be supplementing with collagen, protein, or both? Hi, I'm Dr. Patricia Mills. I'm a holistic medical doctor focusing on natural root cause solutions for your health concern, and welcome to the Wild Wisdom Show. Today, we are going to be talking about the very interesting topic of collagen versus protein, key differences, and which one do you need? So, what is protein? Protein is basically the building block for your body of many different tissues, and it's made out of amino acids. And amino acids are the building blocks of protein. And there are various different kinds of protein in the body. So it's what's used to build tissues such as muscle, connective tissue. It supports immunity. It's used by the liver for detoxification. It's used as a catalyst, so it speeds up chemical reactions in the body. It basically is used in various different parts of the body. And so there's various different types of protein. Some of them are called enzymes, and those are the ones that act as little tools in the body, either speeding up or causing reactions to occur. Proteins are also used to build things like hormones. They're used to transport things around the body, such as iron, and it's structural, like the muscle, collagen in the skin, in the joints, in the bones. So it's a very diverse umbrella of things that the body has. Now, collagen is basically a type of protein. So it exists under the umbrella of a protein as one type, and it's the most abundant structural protein. And basically, it's what's found in the skin, in bones, joints, ligaments, and tendons, and it provides that strength and flexibility. And it has a very unique structure as a result, and it gives many benefits to the body. So people often talk about how collagen has this very unique triple helix structure, and it causes a matrix in the skin, in the bones, joints, tendons, ligaments to be formed, around which a lot of other things can collect around, and that gives it that strength and flexibility. And it's very rich in specific kinds of amino acids, and the amino acids that are very abundant in collagen are glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. Now, there are other kinds of amino acids, but these are the ones that are very abundant. So, for example, protein that is found in, let's say, whey protein, in dairy, it's very high in the amino acid leucine. And leucine is not found as much in collagen. And just likewise, in whey protein, you don't find a lot of proline and hydroxyproline. So the difference in the kind of amino acids in there and the structure, the triple helix versus not, can create the differences between a muscle and a bone. So this is very, very interesting, and it becomes important because when you're thinking about, do I need to add protein to my diet or do I need to add collagen to my diet? You have to think, what is it that I want to support my body with in terms of creating muscles versus skin versus joints? Or maybe you want to catalyze reactions. Maybe you want to support hormone health. So we need to get into that nitty-gritty detail. Now, the interesting thing is that other key differences are when we consider completeness of protein. And what that means is, does that particular protein, whether it's in the muscle, in dairy protein, for example, in skin or bones, is it complete? So does it have all of the amino acids? And there's 21 amino acids, and about 9 of them are essential in that we can't make them. We need to get them from our diet. Now, collagen is not considered a complete protein. It is lacking certain amino acids altogether. For example, tryptophan is one of them, and other proteins such as animal protein, plant protein, they actually can be complete. There are some plant proteins that are considered complete, although that is more rare. The protein in animal meat is considered to be complete. It has all of the amino acids, including the essential ones. Now, the other thing to consider is, as a result of this differences in the amino acids between collagen versus protein found in muscle, for example, what is the difference in the hormonal impact in the body? Because I'm always interested when I'm going to introduce something into my body, either through food or drink, or, on the skin even, for example, but let's focus on diet for now. I want to know, what is the impact on my hormones? Is it a positive impact? Does it have no impact, or is it a negative impact? Now, what's interesting is that when we take protein powders, so you take a protein from animal source or plant source and you isolate it, you refine it, you concentrate it, it actually has a very different impact on our hormones than, for example, protein that's not been refined, that you find in the animal meat or in the plant world, like in soy products, for example, buckwheat, quinoa, hemp hearts. Those are all considered complete proteins. And they do, when you find them in nature, they stimulate the production of insulin hormone a little bit, not a lot. Not the same as, for example, eating a lot of sugar does. That stimulates a lot of insulin hormone production. And when we overstimulate hormone production over time, particularly insulin, we start to get into insulin resistance, which is a type of hormone imbalance where the body no longer responds to insulin in the same way. And you get some really negative consequences of that. Some of them being, for example, polycystic ovarian syndrome, diabetes. We can have problems with cancers, inflammatory conditions. So insulin resistance is a very bad problem you do not want to end up having. And the more insulin production you have over time, if it's over excreting insulin from the pancreas, which is what produces the insulin hormone, you have a higher risk of running into insulin resistance over time. Interestingly, protein powders really stimulate insulin hormone production much more than a food-based protein that is, still in the meat, still in the plant, hasn't been refined and into a powder form. So I get really concerned, and I feel like I'm a bit alone in this, but I get concerned about the potential future impact on our health from having regular use of protein powders. The occasional use is probably not a problem, but daily regular use of protein powders could cause a hormonal imbalance problem over time. We don't know the answer to this because the research on that has not been done yet. Insulin resistance occurs over a period of 5 to 10 years, and the longest study on protein powder is around 2 years. So we simply don't know what the impact is, and I personally don't want to find out in my body. So I stick to, complete sources of protein from, animals and plants, not the refined form. However, when it comes to collagen, because it lacks certain amino acids in high concentrations like leucine, the amino acid, found, for example, in whey protein in high amounts and dairy protein. That's why, a mama cow can make her baby calf grow into a cow very quickly over a period of 4 months, is because of the stimulatory effect of leucine, on things like insulin hormone. And so over time, that could potentially be problematic, whereas collagen really is low in leucine. And so it actually doesn't significantly cause a release of insulin hormone. And through pathways that we're not quite sure of yet, we may actually improve insulin resistance using collagen. Now, I've done a whole video on the potential health benefits of collagen. I'll put the link in the caption, which is the notes underneath the video, and you can click on that and go to that video if you want to dive deeper, including what's the dosing of the collagen. I've also done a video on whether you can get enough collagen from bone broth, and the answer is yes, if you cook it right. So again, I've done a video on that with all the tips. But essentially, I'm less worried about supplementing with collagen supplements, than I am with supplementing with protein powder. But if you want, for example, to have muscle gains, then what you're looking at is you want to either look at protein powder and the occasional use, or what I prefer is just making sure you're getting enough complete proteins from animals or plants. And again, any animal will have a complete protein, and that's really helpful for muscle building. But in the plant world, the only sources of complete proteins are things like quinoa, buckwheat, hemp hearts, and soy. But if you food combine, and that's a whole other science, and you can look that up, is, how can you combine foods? So for example, beans with squash is a very popular combination in cultures that eat a lot of plant foods. And when you combine certain foods from different parts of the plant kingdom, you can get the complete protein profile. So that's very important to know and be intentional about if you are vegan or vegetarian. Now, if you want better skin, joints, and bones, then you're looking at collagen, either a collagen powder or maybe bone broth. So that's very important to understand. And there's many different kinds of collagen. So, over 10 different kinds. But the skin is typically type 1 and 3, and the joints is typically type 2. So again, you'll want to check out my video on collagen to understand which is the kind that you're looking for. And again, collagen, I like collagen, and I'm not worried about people supplementing with it because it's a low insulin spike, very gentle on our metabolism and our insulin response, and therefore for hormone health. So the bottom line is, all collagen is protein, but not all protein is collagen. And so depending on what part of your health you want to, support or optimize, maybe it's both. Maybe you want to have bone broth and enough protein with every meal. Maybe you want to have some collagen powder. So just depending on how you want to do it, choose your own adventure. And again, remember, for muscle, you want a complete protein. For skin and joints, you want the type of protein that's collagen. So if you want to learn more, please feel free to, hop over to my YouTube channel at dr.patriciamills. I've got tons of videos on hormone health, protein, inflammation, and more. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. That's the best way to support the Wild Wisdom Show. Save this for future reference and share. Sharing's caring, and you never know when someone might benefit from this wild wisdom. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, or night, and I'll see you next time. Bye.